if you've got 26 or more employees, it went up to $10.50 on January 1. If you got under that amount, it'll go up to $10.50 next year. And then you can see on page 3, on number 2, we're going to be heading up to $15 an hour at some point. And that obviously creates a ripple effect for your employees who are just above minimum wage now. When you bump the lowest people up to up another notch, you're going to have to bump the people above them to be fair. And so you're going to have to think about how that's going to impact your budget. And then there's another little effect that I'll just hit right now. You track salaried exempt employees based on what they have to earn based on a function of the minimum wage. It's 2 times minimum wage. And so the formula, let's say last year when it was $10 an hour, 2 times minimum wage, $20. Their salary, when you do the math, had to be $41,600, which is 52 weeks times 40 hours times $20 an hour, $41,600. Now it's going up to $10.50 an hour, so the new number is about $43,600. You can see what's going to happen when we get to $15 an hour in a few years. That's almost $63,000 for someone to meet the test to be a salaried exempt employee. And what employers forget, because that's usually not the problem, is the salary test, it's the duties test. They must spend more than 50% of your time doing the higher level duties. And the example I always like to use on this is the Starbucks coffee store manager. They hire, they fire, they budget, they manage. They are managers. But under California state law, they have to spend more than 50% of their time doing those higher level duties. And when you walk into a Starbucks, what are they doing more than 50% of the time? They're pouring coffee and cleaning up like everybody else. And so 10 years ago, they sued Starbucks in a class action, and they settled it for $14 million. So the point here is that you need to look at your staff that are sort of that mid-tier salaried people and see, do they really qualify for the exemption, both on the salary, because it's going up, and on the duties test, the 50% rule, because if they don't, then we have to talk about how we may want to adjust that. So there's certain issues that go with that that are kind of beyond the scope. The other thing to keep in mind is that if you have employees that are working in certain cities in California or the county of Los Angeles, the minimum wage is higher. It's going up to $12 an hour in the city of LA on July 1, and San Francisco's got their own, Santa Monica. There's a bunch of cities. So if you have remote employees or you have employees that go to work in another city, you may want to check, or not may, you should check if they're lower end workers in terms of their hourly rate. You may need to check. For example, I have a landscape contractor who's based in Ventura, but he sends people to LA all the time to do weed abatement alongside the freeway. And he's paying the minimum wage. But when they spend 2 hours a week at LA City, he now has to pay them at the higher wage of LA City. So that may come back to bite you in any situation where you have employees working elsewhere, even part-time. So be careful about that.
The only comment I would add on that, and we'll take those couple questions, is that you don't prorate that salary if you have an exempt employee who meets all the duties tests and they only work 4 days a week, let's say. You don't prorate that salary. It's still, when it was $10 an hour, that's $800 a week. With $10.50 an hour, it's, my math isn't great.
Look at me.
2 times 40, 80 times $10.50. That's the minimum salary. It doesn't matter if you're you can't prorate it